Welcome everybody to this robing ceremony. Can I ask our chaplain, Charles Taylor, to commence today's ceremony with a prayer?
Good evening, and let us pray. Almighty Father, the giver of all good things, the lover of justice and truth, supply us with thy grace, that we may always most thankfully remember the glory of our inheritance as citizens of this realm and city, and that these thy servants may faithfully perform their duties as master, wardens, members of the Court of Assistants, liverymen and freemen of this worshipful company. Enable us all to fulfill our calling as true citizens of the city of God, after the example and manner of our Master, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Master, the Court of Assistants have approved the admission to the freedom of the company of Tom Barton, Charmaine Etienne, Philip Gaishes, Stephen Gilks, Gary Lewis, Winston Michael, Paul Malangani, Bruce Ruddock, Ju Sota, and Martin Spurling.
All of those named have already made your oath before the clerk and been admitted to the freedom of this worshipful company. Normally, at this ceremony, you would repeat your oath before the court and receive your freedom certificate. Because of the current circumstances, you will now be asked to confirm the oath online and at the next available opportunity when the company can gather in person and in fellowship, you will be presented with your certificate.
You freemen, after I have read the declaration, I will call upon you collectively to say, I do.
That is nice.
You shall and will be true to our sovereign lady, the Queen, and to her heirs and successors, kings and queens of this realm. You shall and will be obedient at all times hereafter, in all matters lawful, to the master, wardens, and assistants of the company of Plaisterers of the City of London for the time being, without you have a reasonable and lawful excuse. And that for your own part, you shall and will and truly keep, observe, perform, and fulfill, all and singular, the lawful and reasonable orders and ordinances of the said company, and of the Court of Assistants of the same, made or to be made for the good rule and government thereof, and that you shall not nor will do anything to the damage, prejudice, or rebuke of the master, wardens, and assistants of the said company for the time being, but in everything shall use and behave yourself as a good citizen of the City of London and a freeman of this company ought to do. All this you do solemnly and sincerely declare.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. It was wonderful to hear you all say, I do. And can I welcome you most warmly to the freedom of this worshipful company. It's wonderful to greet you, albeit online, as you represent the variety of people who are involved in this livery. From someone online who is a member of the family that has had 5 generations in this livery, to working craftsmen plasterers who are at the heart of our trade and profession, as well as those of you starting on that journey as a plasterer. One of you is affiliated to our cadet unit 282, and others have very close links to the city and to members of this livery. You are all most welcome.
Thank you, Master. Master, by resolution of the Court of Assistants, Anita Barton, Alan Cairnays, Joshua Oates, Andrew Rainbow, Martin Royal, Julian Sampson, Daniel Steinbach, Samuel Steinbock, Richard Tall, Arm Wills, and James York were elected liverymen of the company.
New liverymen. Normally, at this ceremony, you would read your freedom oath before the court and be clothed with the livery of the company, that is to don a robe of livery. Because of the current circumstances preventing you from being present in the hall, you will now be asked to confirm your oath online. So at the next available opportunity, when the company can gather again in fellowship, you will then be robed in the livery of this company. I now call upon you to make before the court the required declaration for your the livery of this company.
New livery.
I do.
I should call upon you collectively to say, I do. You shall
I do.
to the sovereign lady, the Queen, and to her heirs and successors, kings and queens of this realm. You shall and will be obedient at all times hereafter, in all matters lawful, to the master, wardens, and assistants of the Company of Plasterers of the City of London for the time being, without you have a reasonable and lawful excuse. And that for your own part, you shall and will well and truly keep, observe, perform, and fulfill, all and singular, the orders and ordinances of the said company, and the court of assistance of the same, made or to be made for good rule and government thereof, and that you shall not nor will do anything to the damage, prejudice, or rebuke of the master and the said company for the time being, but in everything shall use and behave yourself as a good citizen of the City of London and a liveryman of this company ought to do. All this you do solemnly and sincerely declare.
I do.
I do.
I do. I do.
Thank you. Can I repeat my welcome to you at this next stage as full liveryman of this worshipful company? You now have all the rights of a liveryman to participate fully in all that the livery will do, but also the responsibility to this livery and to the City of London. Thank you for that commitment. And thank you for all the work that you will do on behalf of this livery as a liveryman to help it grow and to engage even more with the city, with the trade and the profession, and with our charitable endeavours. Whilst we cannot shake hands or share fellowship today, please feel that you are greeted with the same enthusiasm and joy of a warm handshake.
Thank you, Master. Master, 3 apprentices, K.C. Jade Foster, Sung Sung Chantel Jade Morley, and Thomas William Saul, come before the court today to be admitted to the freedom of the company. I will now address both the apprentices and the masters. Apprentices, when you were apprenticed, you promised to serve your master faithfully in accordance with the terms of your indenture. Before you are admitted to the freedom of this ancient and worshipful company, the court must be satisfied that you have fulfilled that promise. I therefore call upon your masters to confirm your good service. I so confirm.
Now that your apprenticeships are completed, is it your wish to be admitted to the freedom of this ancient and worshipful company? It is. Thank you. I now call upon you to make before this court the required declaration for your admission to the freedom of the company.
Apprentices, after I have read the declaration, I shall call upon each of you in turn by name to say I do. You shall and will be true to our sovereign lady the Queen, and to her heirs and successors, kings and queens of this realm. You shall and will be obedient at all times hereafter, in all matters lawful, to the master, wardens and assistants of the Company of Plasters of the City of London for the time being, without you have a reasonable and lawful excuse, and that for your own part you shall and will well and truly keep, observe, perform and fulfill, all and singular, the lawful and reasonable orders and ordinances of the said company, and of the Court of Assistants of the same, made or to be made for the good rule and government thereof, and that you shall not nor will do anything to the damage, prejudice or rebuke of the master, wardens and assistants of the said company for the time being, but in everything shall use and behave yourself as a good citizen of the City of London and a freeman of this company ought to do. All this you do solemnly and sincerely declare. Casey Jade Foster.
I do.
Samsung Chantal Jade Morley. Thomas William Saul. I do.
Casey Sung Sung Thomas, it is really wonderful to welcome you as our first fully fledged apprentices becoming freemen for many years in this livery company. You are most warmly welcome, and thank you for attending today in these difficult circumstances. It was too important not to have you here, if we possibly could, in order to welcome you, as are very much our future of the livery, as young people coming through with close links and with the enthusiasm that you bring. Our livery is in your hands now for the future, and I do hope that in a few years' time, you may be standing here as a master welcoming new apprentices. But anyway, there's a long way to go, perhaps before that, but in the meantime, welcome.
Master, this is the court summoned for the admission of the new master and wardens into office. Upper Warden, may it please you to place your badge of office on the table to your right. Master, by resolution of the Court of Assistants held on the 14th of January 2020, Margaret Ann Coates was elected Master of the Company for the ensuing year. I now call upon her to make the required declaration. Now that you are elected and chosen to be Master of the Company of Plasters of the City of London, you shall and will, so long as you continue Master, endeavour yourself, as near as you can, well, truly, faithfully, honestly and diligently to exercise the said office in all things touching the said office, and that with indifference in every respect. And also that to the utmost of your power you shall and will endeavour to put in execution all the good and lawful ordinances made or to be made for touching the said company, sparing no person for favour or affection, nor punishing any person for envy, hatred or malice, and that you shall in every way care for such goods, plates, jewels, money and other things, which by reason of your said office shall come to your hands, possession or custody. And you shall make a good, true, plain and perfect account of to such person and persons, and in such manner and at such time and times as by the rules, orders and ordinances of the said company is or shall be directed and appointed. All this you solemnly and sincerely declare.
I do. Margaret Ann Coates, I admit you Master of this worshipful company of plasterers for the ensuing year. I entrust to you all the duties and dignity of that office. I invest you with the badge of Master. I wish you all success in your year of office and welcome you to the chair.
Master, by resolution of the Court of Assistants held on the 14th of January 2020, Stephen Alfred Gilbert was elected Upper Warden of the company for the ensuing year. I now call upon him to come forth and make the required declaration. Stephen Alfred Gilbert, now that you are elected and chosen to be Upper Warden of the Company of Plasters of the City of London, you shall and will, so long as you continue Upper Warden, endeavour yourself, as near as you can, well, truly, faithfully, honestly, and diligently, to exercise the said office, in all things touching the said office, and that with indifference in every respect. And also that to the utmost of your power, you shall and will endeavour to put in execution all the good and lawful ordinances to be made touching the said office and the said company, sparing no person for favour or affection, nor punishing any person for envy, hatred, or malice, and that all and every such goods, plate, jewels, money, and other things, which by reason of your said office shall come to your hands, possession, or custody, you shall make a good, true, plain, and perfect account of to such person or persons, and in such manner, and at such time and times, as by the rules, orders, and ordinances of the said company is or shall be directed and appointed. All this you do solemnly and sincerely declare. I do.
I admit you Upper Warden of this worshipful company. I invest you with the badge and I welcome you as the Upper Warden.
Master, by resolution of the Court of Assistants held on the 14th of January 2020, Timothy Andrew Stokes was elected Renter Warden of the company for the ensuing year. I now call on him to come forth and make the required declarations. Timothy Andrew Stokes, now that you are elected and chosen to be Renter Warden of the Company of Plasters of the City of London, you shall and will, so long as you continue Renter Warden, endeavour yourself, as near as you can, well, truly, faithfully, honestly, and diligently, to exercise the said office in all things touching the said office, and that with indifference in every respect. And also that to the utmost of your power, you shall and will endeavour to put in execution all the good and lawful ordinances made or to be made touching the said office, sparing no person for favour or affection, nor punishing any person for envy, hatred, or malice, and that all and every such goods, plate, jewels, money, and other things, which by reason of your said office shall come to your hands, possession, or custody, you shall make a good, true, plain, and perfect account of to such person and persons, and in such manner, and at such time and times, as by the rules, orders, and ordinances of the said company is or shall be directed and appointed. All this you solemnly and sincerely declare. I do.
I admit you renter warden of this worshipful company. I invest you with this badge and I welcome you as the renter warden.
Thank you, Master. Master, by resolution of the Court of Assistants held on the 7th of April 2020, Jonathan Mark Riley was elected as an additional assistant to the court to serve for 2 years. I call upon him to come forth and make the required declaration. Jonathan Mark Riley, now that you are elected and chosen to be assistant to the Master and Wardens of the Art or Mystery of Plasters of the City of London, you shall and will, so long as you continue to be an assistant, give your attendance and be ready to assist the said Master and Wardens when and so often as you shall be called thereunto, having no lawful let or leave to the contrary, and that you shall and will endeavour yourself as near as you can, with all indifference, to give your best and constant advice, opinion and counsel to the Master and Wardens in all such things as they shall lawfully require your advice, opinion and counsel in, touching the said art or mystery, or touching any of the orders or ordinances made or to be made concerning the said art or mystery, or any person being free thereof. You shall not nor will, in giving your advice, opinion or counsel, spare any person for favour or affection, nor assess or punish any person for envy, hatred or malice, but you shall and will uprightly and justly give your advice and opinion according to the truth, so near as you can. And also you shall well, truly, faithfully, honestly and diligently execute the said office of assistant in all things touching the same. All this you solemnly and sincerely declare.
I admit you as an assistant to the court of this worshipful company. I invest you with this badge and I welcome you as an assistant. Welcome.
Master, the position of clerk falls vacant today, and having been duly appointed, Colonel Garth Stuart Cunningham Manger, officer of the most excellent order of the British Empire, comes now to be installed as the next clerk of this ancient and worshipful company. I now call upon you, Garth Stuart Cunningham Manger, to make the required declaration. Now that you are elected and chosen to be the clerk of the Company of Plasters of the City of London, you shall be obedient to the Master, Wardens and Assistant of the said company in all their lawful directions touching the said company. You shall make true entries in the books of the said company and shall not deliver copies of any of the books of the said company to the hurt or prejudice thereof. And you shall well and truly execute your said office and demean yourself therein faithfully and honestly, according to the best of your skill and power. So help you God. All this you solemnly and sincerely declare. I do.
Master, thank you very much Thank you very much for appointing me into this position. I've been very pleased, very happy with the welcome I've been given by yourself, by the previous master, and by all members of the livery over the last 2 or 3 months. Thank you very much. Master, by the Court of Assistants has resolved and confirmed that Louise Rapin and Christopher Mackey shall be appointed stewards to serve from this day for a period of 3 years.
I welcome the new stewards, Louise and Christopher, and I hope that they work steadfastly in their new roles. I want to thank the outgoing stewards, Mike Hannibal and David Peachell, for their services to the company. Thank you.
Master, would you like to say a few words about the outgoing master?
I now call upon the outgoing master, Alderman Alison Gowman, to collect her past master's badge and scroll. Alison, on behalf of the company, it is an honour to present you with your past master's badge and scroll, and to thank you for your year's service as our master. You have performed that role consummately and with absolute dedication, and with a work ethic that it will be impossible to emulate. You have supported diversity within this company and never lost an opportunity of marketing our company in the best possible light. You have left us with a fabulous photo trail to remind us of what livery life was like before and after lockdown. We are sorry that your year has shortened so cruelly by the pandemic, but we thank you for keeping our spirits alive with your blogs, Twitter account, articles, monthly greetings, and of course, Gypsars and Daughters seminars. I welcome you as the Deputy Master.
Master, I would like to welcome Mr. Glenn Hurstfield, Mr. Geoffrey Tattershaw QC, Mrs. Vanessa Gilbert, and Ms. Valerie Amos to the meeting.
I would like to pay tribute to the Master Consort, Glenn Hurstfield, for supporting our Master during her year of office and for organising the very successful trip to the City of London's Animal Quarantine Centre at Heathrow. Little did we know then that that would be our last livery event before lockdown. I would also like to welcome Geoffrey Tattersall QC, who has very kindly agreed to be my consort for the year.
Master, there is one final item of business today. Master, in recognition of his distinguished and learned service to the company for 10 years, and particularly his sterling work during the Great Flood of 2016, the Court of Assistants has resolved to confer upon Nigel Charles Carlton Bamping the title of Clerk Emeritus. Such title to carry with it the rights and duties of an emeritus member of the Court. I call upon you, Nigel Charles Carlton Bamping, to receive your badge, to be worn in recognition of this honour, and an illuminating scroll recording your valued service to the company.
Nigel, on behalf of the Worshipful Company of Plaisterers, I'm proud that one of my first duties today as the new master is to confer on you the title of Clerk Emeritus and to invest you with the badge and the scroll. This honour is in recognition of 10 years loyal, staunch and transforming service. During your tenure as our learned clerk, you have played a crucial role in the developing of the affairs of our company. You have steadfastly promoted and enhanced the standing of this company amongst its peers, its trade, its affiliates, and the City of London Corporation. You have served 10 masters, the court, the wardens, and the committee chairman, all benefiting from your total support and your wise guidance. You have organised and we've savoured magnificent dinners and functions over those 10 years. You have left a legacy to be very proud of. On behalf of all members of the company, I thank you for your service and wish you and Angela a very happy and long and healthy retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Master. May I say, Master, I'm delighted that I will be able to continue the association with the company, and I have now joined that most exclusive of clubs with Hilary, Clerk Emeritus to the Plaisterers, and I am delighted. Thank you very much.
So there is no further business. Would you like to ask the chaplain if he would like to say a few words?
I now ask Charles Taylor to say a few words before we close until 7:30, at which point I hope you will join me with a drink in hand, again on Zoom, for me to say a few words.
Our new clerk, Garth Manger, will have garnered instant brownie points by suggesting that the robing sermon this year be confined to just a few words from the chaplain. And equally, the chaplain, although possessing virtually no IT skills, has learned from several weeks of channel flicking through online services what a simple pleasure it is to be able to switch off a prolix preacher mid-flow. So I shall indeed be brief. Those of you who tuned in regularly to Hancock's half hour, namely the government coronavirus briefings, will have lost count of how often the presenters use the word unprecedented. And I guess that pretty well everyone, except perhaps for the most dedicated hermit, would indeed have been aware of living in unprecedented and indeed fearful times. And yet it's not at all unprecedented for individuals, communities and nations to experience a sense of helplessness, fear and foreboding in dark and difficult days. Never mind world wars or the Great Flood of 2016 or the Black Death and the Great Plague. These are but modern manifestations compared with the apocalyptic stories we read in the Bible, from Noah and before, through Jeremiah, that archetypal prophet of doom, to the judgment of Jesus on the holy city, the darkness over all the land during his crucifixion, and right at the end of the Bible, the book of Revelation with 7 angels spreading 7 plagues on a corrupt, wicked, narcissistic, idolatrous, greedy, and selfish humanity. And is it just me, but do you find it ironic? A pandemic, by definition, is global, and in the case of COVID, fueled and transported by globalism, which in turn is boosted by the idol of consumerism. And yet what seems to be our national objective, but to get people out shopping, spending and consuming again. Okay, I know it's not as simple as all that. And lest I sound like Jeremiah reincarnate, let's also note that all of the dark and doom-laden incidents I've cited from the Bible conclude with a vision for recovery, which is rather more profound than eating out to help out. Noah's menagerie emerged from the ark to a cleansed and renewed planet. Jeremiah's exiles returned to rebuild their homeland. The darkness of Good Friday was but the prelude to that glorious Easter morning. And the apocalypse of Revelation culminates in the vision of a new heaven and a new earth in which, to quote a few lines, God himself will be with his people. He'll wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more. And the one who was seated on the throne said, "See, I'm making all things new." As we thank God for the tireless leadership of Alison, our outgoing master, over the last difficult year, as we express our gratitude for Nigel's years of outstanding service to this company, praying that his horticultural efforts in retirement will prove fruitful, for, as has been said, we come from the earth we return to the earth, and in between we garden. And as we look forward, asking God's blessing on our new master, Margaret, on Garth, our new clerk, and the newly robed liveryman, let's not get weighed down now with fear and foreboding. Rather, let's try and be open to discern God's loving, renewing presence at work among us, bringing hope and healing, as indeed he has been doing and continues to do, through the care and dedication of so many key workers, volunteers, and wherever we've seen the outbreaking of community spirit, neighbourly support, human compassion, and the divine gift of love, which makes all things new. So friends, take courage, face the future with positive hope, and in the words of our motto, let brotherly love continue. And may God grant us his blessing and peace this night and always. Amen.
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 Clerk, I now declare the court closed.
Master, thank you very much. If you would like to lead us out.